Hi everyone, my name is Cyrus Janssen. I'm an American expat, and in this video we're going to be discussing the very important topic of the accuracy of China's numbers when it comes to reporting their coronavirus cases. A lot of people feel that there's no way that China can only have 80,000 cases. You know, China is the epicenter of the coronavirus, and this was really highlighted last month by a news conference from Dr. Birx and President Donald Trump when they decided to bring some clarification to this, and they decided to compare China with some of the worstly affected countries around the world. Now, to start off the comparison, we're going to go to Europe and we're going to start looking at some of the most impacted countries in the world. And this is the amount of deaths per million in population. We see that Belgium has 751, Spain 572, Italy 508, UK 472, France 408, Sweden 322, Netherlands 318, Ireland 297, and Switzerland 273. And we're now going to compare that with China's deaths per million in population, and we're going to see that China has a total of 3. Now, what a lot of people are critical of this is they're simply saying, look, if you just take these countries in Europe and you put China's numbers next to it, you can just very simply see that there's no way that this is accurate. Okay, there's no way that China can be that much less. However, comparing China to countries in Europe is comparing apples to oranges. It's not a fair comparison. And to prove my point, let's take China's numbers and see how they stack up against its neighboring countries in Asia. Here we are in Asia, and we're going to look at the countries that border China and see what their deaths per million in population are. We're starting with the Philippines that come in at 7, South Korea 5, Japan 5, Singapore 4, Malaysia 3. Here's China now coming in at 3, Thailand at 0.8, Hong Kong coming in at 0.5, Taiwan at 0.3, the Chinese city of Macau 0, and Vietnam is also 0. You see, when we compare China to its neighbors in Asia, we can see that they're all pretty much in the same vicinity. Okay, China is no longer an outlier. It now is very similar to its neighbors. And here's the interesting thing. There's a lot of those countries and places, for instance, Taiwan and Hong Kong, that have done an amazing job with the coronavirus and have received a tremendous amount of praise from both the United States government and Western countries around the world. So on one hand, we're praising China's neighbors for doing a great job of, handling the coronavirus and keeping these numbers down very low. However, when China fits into those numbers as well, that doesn't make sense. We must criticize them. We must say China must be lying to us. Chinese government must be hiding something. And this is really the main point that I want to make with this video is that you have to be careful on your news media. You have to be careful because it's very easy to do a comparison. It's very easy to say, look, let's compare China to Europe and see what the numbers bring back. And all of a sudden we see China as this great outlier. You see, when China started locking everything down, when they started building hospitals, when they went mandatory masks, everybody's quarantining, when they started introducing these social apps to track people on their phones, to track all the arrivals coming into the country, when all of these protocols started being implemented in China, all the other countries around Asia started doing the same. In Korea, in Japan, everybody started implementing these very strict policies to start managing everything. I had a friend of mine who traveled from Canada back to Vietnam for a business trip, and he mentioned that wherever he went into Vietnam, whether it was a 7-Eleven, convenience store or a hotel, he had to bring his passport, he had to register with his ID into every single building he went because they wanted to make sure that they knew where every single person was, just in case an outbreak happened, that they could trace it back very simply, and they could simply say, okay, you have the coronavirus, where have you recently been? We now have a record according to your ID number, we can now track that. So you can see the great lengths that many Asian countries have gone through. On a side note, Vietnam has done an incredibly great job in controlling the coronavirus. In total, that country has only had 288 cases, 0 deaths, 249 have recovered. And we look at, let's just say the United States, for example, for months, our politicians, decided to argue. They said, you know what, this is not going to be a problem. They simply did nothing to prepare. And now all of a sudden, we're caught with our pants down. The United States has well over 1 million cases. We're going to have over 100,000 deaths. And now we're in a position where the only thing left to do, let's start blaming others. But the reality is that China falls in line with many of the other countries in Asia. Let's just remember this. The flashback 2 months ago when 80,000 cases and 3,000 deaths were occurring in China. 2 months ago, Western media was slamming China. Look at how bad the Chinese government, reacted to the situation. Look at how bad they failed to control the situation. 80,000 cases 2 months ago seemed like an astronomical number. Over 3,000 deaths, that seemed unbelievable. But now it's just in context. Now we see the United States has well over 1 million. We see that they have, well over 100,000 deaths. And now we're thinking, oh wait, China's numbers can't be accurate. But just 2 months ago, we thought they were extravagant. So this is just how, how quickly we forget things. So anyways, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're bringing more facts and more interesting insights into China. My name's Cyrus. Thank you for watching this video.